It's Isabel Kanaan from Omni Channels Abroad, and I will be on the next ShoPowSho. So I'll see y'all there.
Yo, what's going on? This is the NRW, where nerds rule the world. It's your boy, Kuya P, a.k.a. Patrick Michael Strange, the Adobro, the Babinka boy, the leader of the Hala homies in the center gang of the ShoPowSho. And we are back for another amazing episode, repping Toronto once again. And joining me today is, of course, Miss Viva Valentina from the amazing Ates. How are you today, Tina?
Hello. Oh, hello. I am good. I am coming off of a really great weekend. We were both just at Tidewater Comic-Con.
Yes.
Over the weekend, which was amazing. I felt like it was the first indicator that like the world is returning to this whatever new normal we're returning to.
The new normal, right? Yeah. It was
right.
wonderful
It's
to
been
see
2
you.
years.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So excited. So happy to see you and had seen you in person over the weekend. And yeah, let's get back to normal, y'all. Let's take care of each other. Yes.
Still moving smart and safely.
Yes.
You know, COVID's dying down, but it's not gone, guys. It's not gone.
Right. Stay masked up. Get those shots.
Yes, we're gonna stay zooming. Stay doing our Zoom interviews, and then maybe as the summer comes out, we'll be moving and shaking and visiting places like Toronto.
Heck yeah!
Some of our guests in person, which is something we've been looking forward to since we started this. So,
definitely.
Who do we have today?
All the love to Toronto. Yes, coming from Toronto is this amazing actress, comedian, executive producer, writer. She does everything on this. And we recently had on Aldrin Bundak, who's part of the show. I'm talking about Abroad, y'all, that just, you're going to laugh your behind off. It's so good. Shout out also to Byron Abalos, who's a part of the Abroad team, who let me know all about Izzy and just how amazing she is. Let's just bring her on because I got so much to talk to her about because she's so inspiring. Let's bring her up on the screen. Isabel, you can unmute that. She is on the screen. I'm shooting off air horns right now in post, Isabel, so I don't deafen you. So you're welcome.
Thank you so much.
Air horns are popping right now. You're like in a club. Lights are blinking. It's crazy.
Oh my gosh, I'm so glad to be here. Hello, everybody.
Yes, welcome.
Oh, thanks for having me.
Definitely. I'm so inspired by what you're doing. I just got so much love to Toronto. Y'all are killing it right now as far as representation with shout out to Romeo Candido with Top Line, you with Abroad, my boy Chavi de Guzman up there, Carolyn Faye up there. I know there's a lot of projects too on the way. Man, let's go. Let's go.
Yes. Oh, we need more. We need more. Keep going.
We're going to have the next family picnic up there.
Yes. So thank you so much for your time, because I know you're killing it. You're busy. So really appreciate you giving some of your time today, so we can give you your flowers. You deserve it for paving the way and leading the way right now. Thank you. Salamat po. Maraming salamat.
Let's
go.
Naman. Thank you for supporting and watching it and celebrating it as well, because the show wouldn't be anywhere without people like you. So yes.
Thank you. All right, we're gonna kick this off again. Like I told you earlier, we want to celebrate you, everything you've done, talk about your journey, so we can inspire the people. Let me throw it off to Miss Viva Valentina with our first question out the gate.
So, of course, we always want to know, where are you from? But like, where are you really from?
Well, I
mean, like, where are your parents from? Right?
I'm gonna do you one better. I'm gonna be like me, like where I was born, where I'm actually from. I'm from San Juan, Manila, Philippines. I was born there, raised there till I was 16 years old, moved to Canada, uprooted with my whole family, and now we're all here. We're having a blast.
Awesome. So, as you know, we kind of play off that insane question that we all get as POCs, just existing, right? Just for existing, we just get that insane question. No one else gets that kind of stuff. So,
what are you?
That's how we kind of started off.
What are you? Where are you from?
There we go. Exactly. That's how we cut the ice around here. We break the ice like that.
Yes, I love it, because also I have a great answer. It's the truth. Yeah, I think we all do, and yet sometimes people don't believe us. It's cool.
Right? Right. So as we kick it off, my segue from Tina is, before we actually go on your journey, let's show love and light to those that came before us. If you could share a story of either your parents, grandparents, ancestors, aunties, uncles, let's show them love and light. Because what I feel personally is that we draw a lot of who we are from them. Some of our artistry I know comes from my grandpa, my grandma, and so, just those kind of tidbits. If you could just give some story to that before we go on your journey.
Oh my gosh, yes. I call her my second mom. I have this aunt, Tita Chita, and she passed away a couple years ago. But oh my gosh, she is the biggest character you have ever seen. I have this character called Passive Aggressive Mama. You can see her on the show, but that is actually based around my tita, who, when I would tell people I'm Filipino, she'd be like, and what? Because she is actually of Spanish descent, and she wanted the world to know that I am also Spanish. And I'm like, yes, tita, I will tell everybody I am also Spanish. But I just connected with Filipino more because I was born there, right? And here's also another reason, is because when I asked for them to teach me Spanish, because they would speak Spanish all the time, she'd be like, no, because they wanted to talk about us without us knowing. So, you know what? I'm going to say Filipino, and I'm Spanish as well, and Lebanese, but I really, really identify with the culture of being,
I love it. We can all relate to that. That's real talk right there. All right. So amazing family. And I'm sure we're going to get into that because a lot of that plays into abroad. Everybody check it out. So tell me, growing up, born in the Philippines, tell me about a young Isabel from baby to age 5 that you can remember. I know, or all stories, right. Because I don't remember anything from that. I'm so old now, but like, what did they tell you about you at that time?
Okay. So I used to live in this family compound. So it was just like a row, or actually like an oval of houses. And we were all family, like my titas, my titos, my cousins, we were all there. And everyone hated me as a baby because I would just cry all the time. And apparently I was super loud. So I guess that was their first impression of me, because as I got older, nothing changed. They're like, oh, there's that brat Izzy. And I'm like, where's this coming from? So as a child, I knew that no one liked me. And I'm like, all right, cool. And so when people are like, wow, how did you go through the tough times in your life? I'm like, it started when I was a child. No one really cared about me. They're like, oh, there she goes again talking. There she goes crying. Oh, I'm sorry, I expressed emotion as a child. But hey, also kudos to me crying loud, because that's probably where my powerful voice comes from. And that helped with my acting career.
Awesome.
So I already had critics from the very beginning, so critics don't faze me anymore. Okay, so that was me, and my parents, Filipino parents, they'd be like, oh, okay, we're going to like this business thing, this business event. Dance for everybody. I'm like, what? Dance? I'm like, all right. So I just dance. I just have to dance. And so stage fright, who knows her? I don't know who stage fright, because again, from the very beginning, I just had to do stuff. And I'm like, all right. And so I think having a career in comedy / acting was just, built from the very beginning without them knowing, which is funny, because when I was like, I want to be an actor, they're like, whoa, where did this come from?
Right?
Where do you think?
Real talk.
Awesome.
So that was me as little Izzy, getting critics, getting my first stage life already. And here I am now. Stronger.
All right, so now we're getting into 6 to 10. We're getting into school years. You're getting a little bit older. You're understanding stuff. Let's walk through that. Do you recall just coming into your surroundings, coming into who you are as a person, coming into that? Because you're not in the Philippines. Because a lot of times we have where people move to the States, but you didn't come until 16 and
live abroad.
Yeah, you didn't come abroad yet. Shout out abroad with Isabel Kanaan. plug. So tell me about just growing up, getting ready to go to school, and what that journey as a young kid, and what were you getting into in school?
Okay. So I was in an all-girls school in the Philippines, Catholic, skirts up to your ankles. Okay, actually not, but your shin area. And it had to be, because if it was any higher, you would get like sanctioned or something. Nails. I had to train myself to cut my nails constantly, because if you had long nails, sanctioned. All right. If you had any makeup on, no one had makeup because you just weren't allowed. But if you dyed your hair for the summer or something and you forgot to dye it back, sanction. Oh my gosh, you had to be like everybody else. We all looked alike, the same. Even if your hair, if it was short enough to look like a boy's, sanctioned.
Wow.
What? Yeah. And then I moved to Canada at grade 12. And so I'm like, okay, I'm gonna, it's also a Catholic school, not all girls though, but I'm like, all right, went to school with this skirt that, let's just say is above the shin. But still no makeup, nothing. I had short hair, but it was enough to be a quote unquote girl's short hair, and went to school, and I was like, oh my God, what are these models coming in from the suburbs. They had makeup on, like they just walked down the runway. I was like, makeup's allowed here? Not only that, but there were boys. And I'm like, ooh, okay. Funny enough, I looked like a boy at that time because I had no makeup whatsoever. And I was just like this. I look like this. And I'm like, okay, I guess no one knows I'm a woman. No one knows I'm a woman. So that was just such a shock. And not only that, but a teacher came up to me and said my skirt was too long because it was just like a bit over my knee. And they were like, it's too long. And I was like, what backwards country am I in?
Y'all changed the rules on me.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I didn't know what to do. Okay. And then after that, went to Shoppers and then got me some lip gloss because to me that was makeup enough. The next day I walked in with my lip gloss on and I was here.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Wow. Oh man. Okay, so I love all this. This is wild takes, man. Because again, not all of us live this life. Some think it's crazy. Nah, this is real talk. So with that being said, adjusting with all of that kind of life, how was that for you personally? Let's go internal. Were you upset with your parents? How did that manifest within you? Obviously, you took a lot of this into your amazing comedy on Abroad. Check out Abroad, Isabel Kanaan. Which is what I think we as all actors that get into this business, we've lived such a life that we want to kind of, tell these stories to also, inspire, educate, entertain, the masses, because it's very important. So, but what was it like for you personal at the time so that, others that are out there that might be going through it can feel with it? And how did you deal with all of that?
Well, first of all, because I was 16 at the time, I did not want to leave. I had a life there. I was an adult in my brain, I've already lived a life. I had my barcadas. I had a boyfriend at the time, I was like, I'm not going to leave. But the whole reason why we moved to Canada is because two of my brothers have autism. And my parents, being such proactive people, saw the Philippines climate at the time and there weren't any opportunities for them. And so they were like, we need to give them opportunities. We want them to go to school. We want them to have jobs. We want them to live a life. And in the Philippines, that was not possible. And when they sat us down and said, we're going to Canada, we're like, wait, what? And then they were like, for your brothers. And we're like, yes, you're right. And I cannot thank them enough because they are living the life right now. They are both working, and like, oh my gosh, just seeing them thrive. It's amazing. And again, in my 16-year-old brain in the beginning, did not know what, was having like a, why? I want to be with my friends. Yeah. But, in the long run, you realize, yes, exactly. But I grew up in a span of a couple of days because it was for a very, very good reason. And luckily my 16-year-old brain said, all right, fair enough.
Shout out to you. That's wonderful. That's really sweet to think of the bigger picture and your family.
Shout out to my parents.
And then to hear that they're doing so well. I love that.
No,
mission accomplished.
Yes, exactly.
I dig it. All right, so one of the big, also meaty things that we talk about at this time period as well is obviously you're living in the Philippines, so you're Filipino, right? But now you come abroad. You're here in Canada. Was this your first experience with racism, or did you even get that in the Philippines? Because there's always that light skin, dark skin type mentality, which we know in the Philippines infamous for, don't stay out in the sun too long. You'll get too dark, all of that. What was that like as that played into your maturity and growth?
Oh yeah, and the Philippines, because I do have darker skin, and with my friend group, yeah, that I was the what they at the time they were like, oh, you're the black one in the group, and I'm like, okay, cool. But already, the shadeism there, it's woof. And then when I got here, I hated my skin. I mean, I hated my skin there because of what they would call me, and then I came here and people were like, I love your skin. And I'm like, what do you mean? This that I have hated my whole life, you like it? It was jarring, but also like empowering, because yeah, thank you. I know for some people when they hear, oh, I love your skin, they're like, okay. But for me, who has come from hating my skin to just hearing someone say, embrace it, love it, I was like, wow, so powerful. Thank you so much. So that was one of the things. Another thing was, I've had my fair share of racism here. I love when because I do writing, right? I love when networks and TV shows, they're like, we want to hear from your voice and your perspective, and I'm like, okay, you'll get it. And so I tell them, and they're like, ooh, okay, thank you, and move on. And I'm like, so you hired me for my perspective and not take it. Okay. So you're going to do this for show. And so I was like, no. And hence why Abroad was made, because I was like, if some of Canadian shows are doing it just for the woke clout, we're going to do it for real. Yeah, exactly. And damn, here we are.
All right. Before we get there, all the way there. So we've moved. We're here now in Canada. What were you into? Was this what you foresaw when you were in school, or I think you said you're in 12th. So was that your last school year when you came? Like, what year school were you in when you came?
So because I left the Philippines in August, that I was still in school. I was in my 4th year high school there, but then school here starts in September. So I just started, like, basically restarted my last year here. Gotcha. So it still tracks then. I'm on track. So I came here at grade 12. And sorry, what was the question?
It's all good. I kind of was just trying to figure out like where we are in the time loop.
Right. Yeah.
What did you want to do in high school, right before graduated? Because like one of the things we always talk about, especially us as artists, actors as well, right? It's okay as a hobby, but that ain't what you're doing when you graduate, right? You're gonna be a doctor, a lawyer, engineer. What was that like for you in that last year here in Canada?
Well, I was like, I'm not gonna be an actor. Did not even think of that, because a Filipino in Canadian television, unheard of. No, it's not gonna happen. Not only that, but I was also battling with just, me, like I had an accent when I came here. So I'm like, no one's gonna want me. No. So I went into math. Was I was
thing.
Yeah, I was all right. I liked high school math, but then university math, I was like, what is this? This is not what I signed up for. I guess it is, but so I kept switching because I was like, this is not for me. I switched to philosophy because I didn't know I didn't know at the time that philosophy wasn't going to do anything for me. And my whole thing was, okay, I guess I'll just be a teacher. So it doesn't matter what subject I'm in. I just wanted to teach. Cool. And then I finally met someone who graduated the acting for Cameron voice program at Seneca College, which is eventually the one that I finally like shifted into and then finally graduated in. And he told me all about it. And by then I would have been in Canada already for 5 years. And so at that time, culture shock. All right, it's kind of gone now. Accent, it's kind of gone now. My confidence kind of building now. So now I was in the pocket of, okay, maybe I can do this. Let's do that. And also because, I wanted to teaching because it was stable. I thought like, everybody needs a teacher. And here was one, like the kicker. At the time, I was learning from different people who have graduated as a teacher, saying they couldn't get jobs because there was just an oversaturation of teachers. And so I was like, interesting. So if I become a teacher, I might not get a job. If I become an actor, I can make my own content, but I can't build my own school. You know what I mean? So I was like, okay, I'm going to be an actor. And and I told my parents that through an email because I could not face them live.
You emailed them?
Oh yeah, I emailed them. Not only did
your mom like immediately call you?
My mom called me, but I sent it to my dad because my dad, like he was the one. I told my mom, okay, I'm going to send him an email. So me and my mom were kind of in cahoots, but she wasn't approving of it as well. But she was like, okay, just, get your dad on board or something. I'm like, okay, I'm going to send him an email. And in my email, of course, because, I wanted to be an actor. I had a flair for the drama. I was like, if you don't want me to be your daughter anymore, I understand. And apparently, after it all, so he didn't talk to me. He talked to my mom first. And my mom relayed to me what he thought of the whole thing. And my mom said that, apparently he was fine with you being an actor, but he couldn't stand that he thought, or that he heard that you think that he would not want you as a daughter anymore. That was the final straw for him. And I was like, oh my God. Anyway.
So sweet though.
Yes, but so I was like, yeah, I was like, okay, so they're fine with me being an actor. When I finally did, and especially in the beginning, you get a lot of free shows. You're not making any money. So they were like, oh my gosh, here we go. You're a starving artist. I'm like, thanks for the support, y'all. I think they finally came on board when I showed them a paycheck that was good enough for them. So now they've finally accepted it. But to this day, they still ask if I get a gig. I'm like, oh, I'm doing this. And they're like, is it paid? And I'm like, yes.
Yeah. Did you eat?
Yes. Did you eat? Yep, exactly. Did you eat? Were you paid? Good. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I love all of this, and I know it well. All right, so let's go right there in that pocket where you said you told them, and you show them paycheck later on and all that. But let's get into that pocket where you're now learning. I'm curious what that transition was like for you. It's one thing to want to get into acting. It's another when you're doing it and you're learning that it's not as easy as you think it is. There's a lot of techniques. There's a lot of self and living in the moment and being there. How was that for you? Are you able to memorize lines? Wonderful. Do you like characters? Tell me what that was like. And any maybe pointers for young actors that are out there that are, getting into this trade that we love.
All right. So for me, when I got into it, I felt right at home. And the reason was, again, because my parents would shove me to do things. And so from a very young age, I would always feel vulnerable, cry, all that stuff. And finally, here was a place where it was celebrated. I finally wasn't criticized for being me, for being emotional, for showing my emotions, and being truthful to how I'm feeling. It was amazing. Yeah. And so I just felt right at home. It was the perfect thing for me. And that's when I knew I made the right decision to do this. One of my, I'd like to tell, aspiring actors out there is a lot of people think that acting is lying, essentially, which is not the case. And I think that was one of the reasons why I thrived in it, because I am not a good liar. I really am not. But I act, and I guess I'm good at it. I because I've been gaining success with it. Because acting is all about the truth. It is what is truthful to you. You have to be comfortable being vulnerable. And thanks to my parents, I was able to do that. And so I love being vulnerable. I love when others are vulnerable to me. And if anything, if there is an inkling of walls, like if people have walls, I tend to be like, okay, great. And I shy away from those people because I am more of an open person and I want to be with other open people.
Yes. I love it. I love it. All right. So also, let's stay in that pocket of school, beyond just, finding our trade, finding our passion. We're, in college, or if you go off and join the military, you're now out from under your parents, control. What was that like for you as a person? As you said, you grew up in the Philippines and we're in the Philippines up until 16. You had the long dresses that could only be up to a certain level, right? Then you come to Canada and then, oh my gosh, they're wearing makeup. Yeah, there's boys. Oh my gosh. And so like you have that for like a year, right? Because you're in your last school year. Then you go off to university. I'm sure your mind was blown. Tell me about coming into a whole Isabel Kanaan.
Oh my God. Who was she even at that time? In the Philippines, I shared a room with 3 of my brothers. So all 4 of us would be in one room. So boundaries, I don't know who that is. Privacy, who dat? No, we shared everything. And so when I got here, not only did I get here, when I moved away and I was living on my own, I mean, granted, it was like school housing. So there were other people around, but still I was like alone in my own room. The silence was deafening. I did not know how to sleep. I couldn't sleep, it was very difficult. And I talked so slow, not because I'm translating what I'm thinking from Tagalog to English. I am mimicking how they say things because I didn't want them to think that I was new to the country. Because at the time, immigrants, you shouldn't say you're an immigrant, because at the time, immigrants were terrorists. Immigrants were going to steal your jobs. If there was a bad connotation to being an immigrant, and I was like, oh, I don't want to do that. Okay, assimilate. That was my goal at the time. And so lost the accent, or well, actually not yet, but I would, learn their ways at night. Instead of doing schoolwork, I would replay how they said things. So I would say it. And one of the hardest things to say was comfortable. What is that spelling even with that word? It does not make sense, because in the Philippines, we just say comfortable. But then if you say, even with less accent, it's, comfortable. But still, it was still off. I'm like, what is it? So someone finally, I could hear it. It was comfortable. I'm like, what? And so late at night, I'd be like, comfortable, just replay it over and over. And I would also replay how people said 1,000. So because I am from Canada, they have like certain ways of saying oh and stuff like that. So they would say like 1,000. So I'm like, okay, oh yeah, please give me 1,000. You know, very now I don't care. Now I'm like 1,000. You know, but back in the day, I was like, I need to be Canadian, not American, because a lot of TV shows were American that I was watching, and I'm like, no, it has to be Canadian, and then throw in an A here and there. I heard that was popular, eh? You know, like things like that. Oh my gosh. And even just like little Canadian vernaculars. One time a TA called me a keener, and I was like, haha, cool. I did not know what that was. Went to Google. Keener, a Canadian term for like basically a nerd or a teacher's pet or something like that. Good at school, right? And I was like, oh, a keener. And so ever since then, when people will be like, you know, oh, you did this already? I'm like, yeah, I'm a bit of a keener. You know, just like so proud that I know what a keener is. Or sometimes I'd be like, yeah, I know, I'm such a keener, eh? Oh, peak Canadian right there. Oh my gosh.
Sprinkling it in.
Yeah, exactly. But, you know, funny enough, with all that, did I gain success assimilating? Not necessarily. Not necessarily. When I finally did graduate, I wasn't getting roles. And people were probably also, what are you? Who are you? But if I know, I don't know either, right? And finally, when I kind of just had this, I was missing. There was something missing in my life, you know? And what it was me being true to myself, me being true to being Filipino, being true to being an immigrant, being true to being queer, you know, all of that. It was just all shoved in the closet. And then I did a show, or I wrote at Second City. So when I wasn't getting any roles, I talked, you know, I was like, okay, I'm not getting any roles. Let's start making my own roles. So how do I make my own roles? I remember a teacher in Seneca told me, you can find the comedy in anything. All right, took that to heart. Googled, okay, search comedy schools, Second City. Okay, I joined the Second City Conservatory. I joined the Second City Writing Conservatory. Then eventually I got into the NBC Universal Bob Curry Fellowship Program of Second City. And that was when I shined, because even in the conservatory, I did not shine there. Why? Because I was the only person of color in that whole class. And so when I'd have a sketch that was off my perspective, off my journey, nope, it didn't make it into the show. Okay. So then finally in the Bob Curry program, because it was a diversity program, everyone around me were people of color. I pitched some of the exact same things, and it killed. And that's when something clicked in me of like, this is what I'm missing. I'm missing being me, and I'm missing accepting that Canada is not just this audience. It is not just rural Canada. It's not just the Schitt's Creek. It's not just the corner gas. There are so many more that we are not even tapping into as a nation. So that's when I was like, okay, everything I'm going to do right now is going to be like very coming from me, my life, my story. Whew, and abroad. Check it out, y'all.
Oh man, I love this so much.
Wow.
Dude, I connect with this. Like in the past 2 years, we've been doing this ShoPowSho since 2019, I think, right? Tina is when we started.
2020.
It was
2020?
Yeah. Okay. But yeah, wow. Yeah. And we're almost, I think this actually might be our 100th episode, by the way. I don't know. I've got to check the count. Crazy. Okay. But like when you finally just do what is you know what I'm saying? You celebrate yourself. Stop trying to, you know, do for others. What, you know, you should do for others. I'm sorry. Excuse me. That was wrong. But like you speak with your voice, like you're saying, Isabel. That I think really people will see that and recognize you know, and I love it. I love your vibe and what you're saying right now, because that's what I think has been the secret to my success as of late now. And I've been in the game since '99. I'm old. I'm old as hell. Old. But and now I'm finally seeing that hard work pay off. And so like kudos to you. So now that we're here, we're on abroad. Like you were in that program. You started knowing who you are, writing for yourself. Where did the first inclination of abroad like start, the germ? Was it in that program, or like to tell the stories of what you've existed, those ates, those titas, like to just put that on wax, you know, as we say in hip hop, you know, to write that and lay it down?
Well, as a millennial, TikTok came into my life. And at that time, this was before the pandemic. So everyone was like, TikTok, that's for kids.
Yeah.
I finally looked at it. Yeah, exactly. I finally looked at it because I was on set one day, bored in my trailer. And I was like, all right, what's this TikTok that the kids are going about nowadays? I looked at it and I was like, oh, all right, this isn't as bad as people think it is. I'm gonna do one.
Nice.
Yeah, I did one. My first one is basically the caption was going to clubs in Canada, and it was me with a bunch of coats, and I would just like keep stripping the gazillion coats until I got down to my sexy club outfit, and then we party. And that was a whole TikTok. And for me at the time, who did not know TikTok, you know, it had like 2,000 likes. So it was probably like 10,000 views or something like that. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm going viral, which I wasn't, but I was like, oh yeah. So I lit like 2,000 people who liked it already. I was like tapping into people who I would not have tapped into before. So I started continuing it. I used TikTok as my sketch diary. Meaning any jokes that I would find, any trends that I would see on TikTok, putting my twist into it, my Filipina twist, my queer twist, my immigrant twist, even my actor twist, you know, I put it on TikTok. My original TikTok name was Abroad Filipina. Then after 4 TikToks, just 4, the producers of Now Abroad, Long Hope Media, came up to me and was like, we want to do a show about you. And I was like, because they saw my TikToks. First of all, freaking imposter syndrome, because I'm like, oh, no, you don't. No, you don't. No one wants to see this. Who am I? No one knows who I am. Why would you do a show about me? So when they pitched it, I was like, okay, let's think here. They want to do a sketch comedy show around me. Okay, well, I want to do a sketch comedy show, but because I was so like, you know, I do want my voice in there, but there are other voices. I want other voices in there as well. So the first ever pitch was an immigrant sketch show. So everybody was coming from different cultures. And it was supposed to be an ensemble show. And then we pitched it around, and Omni Channel said, why not make it about you? Why not make it Filipino Canadian? Why not make it Tagalog English? And I was like, because people told me not to. What are you? What? And it was so baffling to me that they were suggesting all of these, and I, you know, at the end of the day, it was something of like, they believed in me. They saw something in me that I didn't even see in myself. I didn't believe in myself. I wanted other people with me. And don't get me wrong, this show is a collaboration from start to end, you know, but it took some time for me to accept that, oh, it's going to be around me as the center point. It was from that little kid, you know, who everyone said, shut up to finally some people, a whole network was like, no, keep going. Oh my God. It was
That's beautiful.
The inner child in me was healed.
I love
Yes.
Man, and that's why I love collaboration, because without Omni telling me this, I would not have known to do this of this show. And I feel like it elevated the show so much to have our language in there in Canadian television is just, it's amazing. It's amazing to me.
Yes.
Wow.
I love it. I love it. So you get
he's so
the green
sweet.
light, you get to assemble a team. Tell me about just this team you assembled, and just to get others of us
Yes.
that probably weren't working, because we get well, for me, there's one token, maybe one Filipino will get in there, but the rest will be everybody else. Here you get to get all of us. What was that like to hire friends and get everybody involved with this? It's amazing. It's got to be.
Oh my gosh, yes. And the fact that I could just email people, you know what I mean? Because you always hear, oh, it's all about networking. It's all about networking. I'm an immigrant. There is no networking with me. I have to just show up somewhere and hopefully someone notices, right? I don't have the connections that people and people's families have built throughout years here in Canada. So the fact that I was in a position to message people and say, hey, let's do this. It's just one big fam jam. Let's go. You were talking about Byron earlier. As soon as it was greenlit, message Byron, hey, do you want to do this? Because in the beginning of my career, as soon as I graduated, I did a sketch show that Byron was a part of. And that's where we first met. And then, we went on our separate ways. And then 2020 came around and I was like, hey, let's do this. And he was like, yes. And finally we came together again. And, it's that thing of community, us as Filipinos being community-based, being family-based. This is what it's all about. That's what it comes in handy. So it was so great. But not only that, because I did want this to still celebrate the Canadian immigrant experience, I also brought in friends of mine who I know have not gotten the opportunities that they deserve, who aren't Filipino, but are immigrants. So we've had people from Jordan, from Mexico, who are immigrants who've had similar experiences to us. And so we were just all in this, in this writing room together, and it just felt so safe. There were no filters. We didn't have to over-explain ourselves. If we were like, oh yeah, let's make a sketch about a tabo, which is basically, I call it a portable bidet. They were all like, oh yeah. But if it was any other writing room, and I pitch it, okay, so we have this thing in the Philippines called a tabo, and it's a device, but it's actually just like a pail that we put water. All of this explanation gone. As soon as I said tabo, and then for the people who weren't Filipino, I said portable bidet, and they're like, oh yeah, we have that. Boom, done. We know what it is. We all wash our asses, and so
hopefully
yes, exactly. So it was just so safe, fun. Oh man, I did not know that was possible in a writing room, but hey, it happened. Yeah.
Love that. Oh, I love this energy. So actually, let's go in there too in regards to this writing room. And I love that there was comfort and then safety, and we feel we could tell our stories. But let's talk about the fear when for those of us that may not have had that. And thankfully you had that, where you could be your true selves. Did you ever were there any sketches that maybe you didn't decide to do, or just kind of like, will not do that because, for fear of, the Filipino community will get too upset with this, or as a queer, having go too far on that end? Tell me if that came through, and how'd you work through that, or just for anybody out there as well as writers, as creatives, that encounter that.
So the thing with abroad is I said that every sketch has to have like a heart in it, like the heart. So we're going for laugh, 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 heart. So what the heart is usually the different perspectives that we see. If we see a passive aggressive mama, you know, sure, we laugh about it throughout the sketch, but at the end we say why she's passive aggressive. She can't say these things like we can. She wasn't given the same opportunity to voice their opinion, right? Things like that. We put that in there so everyone knows where everyone is coming from. And when there were sketches that didn't really, you know, show the heart, or if it did, it still was a little bit iffy, things like that. We didn't do it justice, pulled it out for now. And it's never pulled out of like, we're never going to use it. We just didn't have the time to talk through it as much as, because it was a whirlwind. The show happened like that. We didn't know we were getting picked up. We were writing and they were like, all right, we're picking it up. Boom, boom, boom. And now it's out there. It all happened in such a short span of time. And so the ones that we couldn't do justice is in the back burner right now. But if, you know, hey, who knows if season 2 is going to come out? Woo! But we have those now, and we have the time now to bring it up front. So there were, you know, what was great is there was one that to the very end, you know, there was a shooting schedule for it. It was gonna happen, but it still didn't sit right with us Filipinos, and we couldn't figure it out, and we still can't to this day. But I'm so stubborn. We are gonna figure this out. But we pulled that sketch. We're holding on to it, hopefully for a season 2, and it will come back because at the end of the day, the lesson that you learn from that sketch, we need to hear about it. Though it is hard to digest, it is our job as comedians to figure out a way for you to easily digest it and think about it at the end. So that was what a lot of our work was. We found the comedy, great. What is the point of view of this sketch? Why are we doing this sketch? And then the third is, where's the heart of the sketch? So all of the sketches have all that.
I love that. And I want to thank you for that. I think I have a lot of friends that are comedians, stand-up comedians. And, you know, it's hard. Well, so I wouldn't say it's hard because I think you can find a way to tell, you know, and make a joke. But I know for some people it isn't. And you know, due to the way the world is and climate, I think we got to just be more responsible. You know, a lot of people complain about that and they just still want to kind of go hard with it without repercussions. But like, you got to think about these things. But I say just still keep creating, still writing, you know. And I love that you guys are working through certain things. I think that's still just do it and then find that piece that will connect, that will like really, you know, set it where it's at.
And actually that one, it was one of the actors that was like, it's still not sitting right with me. And we're like, cool, it's not, we'll save it for next time. So, you know, again, because like from the beginning, it's like the writers. And then we also bring it to the actors, because if anybody's uncomfortable with anything, we find a way to navigate around it. And we're not going to do something that you are uncomfortable doing, because how many times has that happened with us as actors? And we have to say, you know, the stupidest thing sometimes that we know as people of color we would never say, yet that is what the script says. And we don't want that. We're trying to end that kind of thinking.
Real talk. I love it. Thank you again for that. So you're filming your raps. It's now out there to the world. Everybody go check out Abroad once you're done watching this. All of this, show love to Isabel. I saw a video, I think was like the last shoot. You kind of, when y'all wrapped up, I just thought it was so sweet. Just the team support and just how it was really a whole team collaboration coming together. And I pray and hope that you guys can have a season 2 to continue on this amazing show and write and just get so many Filipinos still employed and working. We need to work. We need work.
Yes.
Just how was that? And now as it's coming to the world and you're talking to people like myself and you know, bringing it to the people, What has this been like for you?
Oh, it's been amazing. You know, I I, I don't even know how to explain, because at the time when we were filming, you would already get people being like, wow, this is great, isn't it? But I was in show mode, or sorry, I was in business mode, like work mode. So I couldn't really grasp the amazingness of it going in. Like I was like, okay, yeah, it is great, cool. But then I'd be writing, or I'd be memorizing, or I'd be doing, I'd be filming. And so now that it's over and I get to see the response, and what's really heartwarming is the response from the audience. If they reach out through a tweet, through a story, and because sometimes I don't even know, it'll be like a friend of a friend of a friend will send me something, or tell me how much they like the show and things like that. It's again one of the reasons why I keep going, why I think anybody in this industry keeps going, is the support and the love of the audience. Because again, without the audience, this wouldn't be anything, right? So this is abroad is your show. It's your show at the end of the day. As much as it is mine, it's yours. So please do with it as you will. If you want to freaking debate about things, that's why the show was made. We want you to talk about these things that normally haven't been talked about, or you're afraid to talk about. If you're afraid to talk about something and you have a sketch from abroad, just show your parents and be like, right? I'm not that's not you at all, right, mom? Or is it? Like just, at the end of the day, we want people to relate. We want everyone to connect with one another, because we're a human race. We just want to live and be happy all together, right?
Yes, I love it. All right, Abroad is out there, people. Y'all check it out. Before we have a couple more questions. Tina usually hits us off with the last question, but before I pass it to her, again, you've been sharing your amazing story. And as I said it to you earlier before we got started, this is just a snapshot. Isabel is still killing it right now. I'm curious what you have in mind for the future, what you'd like to do. If there's anything right now that we could also throw love and light on and shine on, or just, maybe some words to the people. What is the biggest lesson you've learned in your time thus far, that you would want to embark with anybody watching this, to help them on their journey?
Well, okay. So let's start with, well, you can also find me obviously in all my socials at Isabel Kanaan, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, wherever, YouTube, it's everywhere. I try and hit all the different parts. But also you can find me on the Filipino channel. I'm a host on BRGYR Global Barangay, and I sometimes host Mix Global, the Mix News Hot List, so you can see me there as well. And I have a secret YouTube project coming up with a bunch of friends from Canada. So hey, you might see me there too. Again, follow the socials so you can follow it and update yourselves with what I'm doing if you want to. But the biggest thing that I want to impart is do self-reflection. As a child, when you're growing up, you get all these things coming at you of like, you should do this, you should do that. And then when you're an immigrant and you come to Canada, people are like, oh, you shouldn't do this, you shouldn't do that. And what I mean by self-reflection is because sometimes when people would say things like that, or do, something would feel off. But I would be like, all right, whatever. That's maybe I just, it felt weird with me, but it didn't sit right, but I left it. And once I finally reflected and was like, oh, why did that feel off? It's because it's a part of me that they are stomping down, or it's a part of me that they do not want, or it's a part of them that they are ashamed of, that they don't want to see in other people. But that's not something that you're ashamed of, things like that. everybody has a different way of doing things, and you are only going to learn from you. You have to just, as much as you can, talk to yourself, listen to your gut, all of that. And at the end of the day, your mental health goes a very, very long way. And in this day and age, you can find it anywhere. Therapy, journaling, meditation, whatever works for you. The internet is everywhere now. Just go on it and type, how do I do this? There are so many options now. And that's what I suggest. If you're ever struggling with who you are, your identity, with being a new immigrant, any of that, reach out. Yeah. There are so many now, so many options.
I love that. Let's go.
Yes. Wow. Thank you, Isabel. We always end this with our last question, which is our nerd check. And here, the nerds rule the world. So we want to know, what are you nerdy about? What are you super into? It could be something that you're just currently into, something that you've always been into, something that you were into in the past but are no longer, but something that maybe you could give a TED talk about, or maybe that you just love.
Alrighty. Well, number one is Naruto. Datta bayo.
Weave. You're a weave.
My Hero Academia, Hunter x Hunter.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh, I remember being into some of these in the Philippines, and people would like be like, okay, and just kind of like walk away. So for you to just
awesome.
Again, it's that thing again of, oh, you're celebrating this? Again, another part of my inner child is healing.
No, man, it's awesome.
Yeah, oh my gosh, you know what I realized? Why anime is so good and powerful? Because my ex-roommate told me, the way you cry at anime, I've never seen you cry with any movie like that or any show.
Oh, yeah.
What is it? And I said, you know what it is? It's, if that were to be live action, you know, people who cry, who bawl on, like, as an actor, you know, they're saying you don't push for it. It looks bad. You can't be big in front of the camera. I'm Filipino. I am big. You know what I mean?
Let's go.
You can't stop that. And so if I can't see that in live TV shows, yet here are animes with the songs and the music, and they're going, I will be the best hero I can be for you. And if I can't do it for you, I'm going to do it for myself. Oh my God. If that doesn't give me chills, I don't know what will.
I love it.
No, I agree with that. Crying at anime is a different thing. Me and my husband, we got like a list, and that's like our list of like, oh, this is a crying anime. And he'll come home with like a new anime movie and be like, everyone said they cried at this one. Or like, oh, we ready?
Like, hey, crying is good. Crying is good for the soul. Like,
oh yeah,
you need to express those.
My guilty pleasure.
Yeah.
Yes, and it shouldn't be a guilty pleasure. It should just be a pleasure. That's what I'm saying. Let's cry.
Let's go.
Normalize that. Yeah.
Yes.
I love it.
My anime shirt.
Yeah.
Yo, well, Isabel, Izzy, thank you so much. I love your vibe. I love your energy. I love your soul. Your light shines through. And I'm so happy that just the world allowed you, you know, again, hearing your journey, like how it was from the Philippines, and then kind of just how close-knit it was until you came into yourself. I wish we could have touched more on your LGBTQ journey, because I know how Catholic, like you said, you were very Catholic, and how that is. Maybe we'll, if you're available, I'd love to have you come back, because we plan to have other show pals where we discuss like colorism and just different aspects of our journey. Yeah.
Nice,
so
yes.
If you're ever available, you're now part of our ShoPowSho family by being here today. I would love to talk with you. And again, as you continue on your journey, I know you got so many more wins coming up. And as you said, you have a YouTube show popping up soon as well. Secret. I would love to have you back, but thank you so much for just giving us this time and celebrating you. All the love and light to you. And yeah, you're the best. Everybody.
Oh my God, you're the best. You're the best. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Salamat po. Everybody, Isabel Kanaan, check out Abroad. I'm going to actually throw in some more information on it right now. All her socials are in the description below as well. Check her out. Give her all the love, y'all. Isabel Kanaan on ShoPowSho. Boom. There you go. That was Isabel Kanaan. Check her out on Abroad over there in Canada. Shout out again to Toronto Omni Channel. But if you don't live in Canada and you're like wondering, can I see it? Because, we've had so many Toronto cats on. Thankfully, with Abroad, it's also streaming on YouTube. So you can catch, I think, like the episodes come on like a week or two after. I don't know, but I know they're on. And I've seen them. And if you follow like all of her handles, which I will have in the description below, you can find it and go to YouTube and just like it, share it, please. Help her. Let's support our people. That's the only way the rest of the world is going to allow these stories to be seen. If there's interest, if you want this, you got to show it love. And there you go. But Isabel Kanaan, such an amazing spirit. I love her light. And I felt it, man. How about you over there, Tina? I saw you were writing away.
Yeah. I like to write away the points that really like hit home for me. And I really liked the point that she made about how acting isn't lying. Acting is performing the truth. And like where she found herself when she was being herself. That sounds lame, but like she found herself when she was being herself. And like when you're living in your truth, you are living fully. And I just really appreciated that. And I think like the story, kind of hearing now like about how Abroad came to be and how, she was just doing her thing on TikTok. Like I can relate. You're just doing your thing, being yourself. And then all of a sudden, it resonates with people. And then you have a community, and then you're given opportunities, and then using those opportunities to raise your community. Like that's just amazing, because there it is, like a rising tide, raises all boats. And she used that opportunity to not only, do what she loves, but bring other Filipinos along with it, bring other immigrants along with her. And then I'm so proud of like those producers for coming to her and just being like, no, we want to make a show about you. No, but how about you? And like just that question of like, why not? Why not a Filipino sketch comedy show? Why not our language on the screen? Why not? And like, I hope if you're watching this episode, if you're listening to this episode and you're in a position of power to give a person of color a chance, that representation echoes and creates ripples so far and touches in big ways and small ways. And that's the seeds of change. And gosh, yeah, that was my biggest takeaway. And we love to see it.
Love to see it. I love
we
that.
love to see it. So,
yes. So shout out to those producers. That helped raise her spirit and confidence to know that knew that they saw it in her and they helped bring that out. So if they were us, kudos for again, because we got to get into those power positions, because it's not going to happen unless we step there. And for those allies as well that help get us there. Thank you.
And again, one of the main things about the ShoPowSho and why we do what we do and why we interview the people that we interview is just how important representation matters.
Exactly.
And again and again and again and again and again, we say this, but like representation matters. And like how many times have we done an interview where it was like, you know, there wasn't people that looked like me, or there wasn't opportunities for people like me, there wasn't, you know, people in front of me that I saw doing what I wanted to do, or you know, it was unheard of. And just overcoming that, and then being the change you want to see in the world, like, thanks Gandhi, and changing again, it's one step at a time, little things, creating ripples and changing more lives. So shout out to Isabel, like, really happy to have you on, and really happy to again send that message home. Hell
yeah. What a wonderful spirit. I love it. So if you have suggestions out there, like the amazing prior guests in Byron Abelos, who got to us in regards to this amazing, beautiful soul that is Isabel Kanaan, hit us up. And for
who do you want to see?
Yeah, who do you want us to have on? Who do you want to see? Hit us up.
What do you want us to talk about?
Yeah. And since we're missing one of the amazing aunties before I have Tina, you know, we love to still show Kataphorric love, who's over there again in Japan doing her thing, but she will be back when she can. So shout out and our love to Kataphorric, and you can follow her at Kataphorric on everything, and her information is in the description below. And to our other amazing auntie who is here, Miss Viva Valentina, how can they show you love, and how can they reach out to you with their suggestions?
Reach out to me on Instagram and TikTok. I am viva.valentina. You can hit me up. Let me know what you want to see. Let me know where you see your representation, because that is so important. So how can they find you, Kuya P?
You can follow me at the Legend Kuya P on Twitter, TikTok, and IG. Of course, here at ShoPowSho. My other podcast, because I'm an overachieving Asian, I do too much, at AAPI Toy Heroes. And at the NRW and at New Release Wednesday, where nerds rule the world. I love you, Kat. I love you, Tina. I love you, Isabel Kanaan. Thank you for coming and sharing your love and light and your energy. And I love you all for tuning in as always. Mahal kita, salamat. We're out of here.
Mahal kita.
It's Isabel Kanaan from Omnichannels Abroad. And what my Filipino heritage means to me is completeness. Because I once felt that I was not whole. I was not being my authentic, true self when I was hiding it. Because yes, I did hide it when I first moved to Canada as an immigrant, because that's what people told me to do. Because it wasn't accepted and it wasn't celebrated to be a Filipino immigrant back in the day. And let's change that. And that's why Abroad was made, because I don't want any immigrant to ever feel that way. I want you to be whole and stay whole forever, for the rest of your life. I don't want a part of you missing. All right. You are a puzzle. You're a beautiful puzzle piece, and it'll keep growing. But that one puzzle piece of you being Filipino, that's always going to stick around. And I want it to. So don't shy away from it, because it is part of you, and it's amazing. It's an amazing feeling to just be true to yourself.